It feels like it's taken an eternity, but we've finally been given the chance to take a good look at the upcoming Dune Awakening. The weekend beta allowed progression up to the end of Act 1, which clocks in at about 20 hours of content, and I spent it hacking through scavengers, harvesting random bits, and running away from big fuck-off worms. Now I've seen it in action, there's no denying that the scale of Dune Awakening is fine. The map is a desert, there was only ever going to be so much within it, but that said, the world does feel a little devoid of all life and energy. The core gameplay loop is entertaining enough though. Any fans of No Man's Sky or Ark are likely going to get a small kick from roaming and building, but all of the survival aspects feel tacked on and become more of an occasional inconvenience to traversal instead of a gripping fight for survival. Even the crafting and base building are no more than exactly what you'd anticipate from a title in this genre. Combat goes so far as to not even care to incorporate any typical survival mechanics. Ammo is abundant while looting and very easily craftable, and the same goes for healing items, which you can hide behind cover and rapidly spam through bandages to get back to full health. And if I can just pause here really quickly just to be shameless for a moment, if you are looking to spice up your life in Dune Awakening, you can always do it with the help of Timesaver. Timesaver is a company that specializes in in-game currency and boosting services. The website includes time-saving services for games like Call of Duty, Marvel Rivals, and of course, Dune Awakening. With years of practice, 0 customer bans on any platform, and no personal information taken, Timesaver is perfect for those looking for a helping hand with the constant grind modern games can't seem to get enough of. If any of this rings alarm bells, firstly, good for you, and secondly, you can put your mind at ease with the hundreds of positive reviews on Trustpilot. At the end of the day, if you're going to buy microtransactions, may as well do it in a way that means the big greedy companies probably get less. You can check out Timesaver through the link in the description or in the pinned comment. Anyway, let's get back to Dune. It's obvious that Awakening is first and foremost an MMORPG before anything else. And I say that because, despite this only being the beta, there's already no end to the half-finished, nearly indistinguishable player-made bases littered across the map. I was hoping that a lot more effort would have been put into making encounters with other players impactful, something more akin to a game like DayZ, where another presence can either become an unexpected wholesome ally, or lead to a sudden fight to the death, depending on your reaction. But like a lot of other MMOs that didn't need to be MMOs, other players don't alter your experience in any meaningful way beyond serving as set dressing for the world. Which would be totally fine if the base building allowed for any kind of creative flair. Even Fallout 76 let you somewhat decorate your makeshift homes without paying for the endless microtransactions. Here, they're all just uninspired grey cubes filled with more grey cubes inside. It's incredibly dull for a franchise that prides itself on having excellent visual storytelling. I really don't want to keep trashing the game, but I have to touch on the combat, and the only nice-ish way I can describe it is simplistic. There are close-quarter melee attacks and ranged weapon options, but nothing fundamentally changes between weapons beyond the damage stats. You can unlock a handful of special moves by progressing through your character's skill tree, but more often than not, I've found myself forgetting they existed, only pulling them out when I remembered I needed them for gameplay footage. There's nothing particularly broken about them, they just never felt essential when the basic slashing and shooting was more than enough to defeat any enemies. Mostly because the enemy AI is shockingly bad. Sometimes I'd be standing just a few steps away and they wouldn't react until I literally started blasting them in the face. Making matters worse, if you've been paying attention to the gameplay footage I'm showing, one thing should stand out like a sore thumb, and that's the level of variety in Dune Awakening being painfully weak. Again, I get that the desert environment comes with a lot of limitations, especially since they sort of have to stay true to the tone of the series they're attached to, but I've played indie games with a wider array of weapons and enemy archetypes. Many of these complaints that I have could just be down to the beta only allowing access to a specific part of the game. So it's entirely possible that more variety opens up beyond what I've played thus far. I'm not entirely convinced of that myself, but it's still possible, I guess. Based on the several hours I've spent with it, the word that keeps bursting to the surface is standard. Dune Awakening isn't a bad game. It's way too competently made to be a bad game, but outside of a few visuals that are unique to the IP, no matter what I say about the game, those sandworms are really fucking cool, there's still nothing here I couldn't find elsewhere. It is worth quickly mentioning that I haven't seen any of the films or the show, and I've never read the book, so my perception hasn't been coloured by any nostalgia or franchise loyalty, which is why I think Awakening might hit a lot harder for those already invested in the lore. Even without the background, you can still tell the devs care enough about the IP to do it justice, even if it is mostly just in the, sometimes extremely fucking cool, visuals. But for Dune virgins like myself, this could be a disappointing first time for newbies. Across the board, it doesn't feel like the game was made because somebody had a good idea. More that somebody thought it would be a good idea to slap the Dune aesthetic onto pre-existing ideas. Ideas which I think are much better executed in the Mad Max game from several years ago. In that game, the combat feels weightier, the world more interactive, and the driving actually makes me feel an emotion that isn't bored. Even after everything I've said, I know that Dune Awakening will still probably satisfy some, and this genre is designed to be added to over time. As a starting point though, this needed more time in the oven. Thanks for checking out this video. I really wanted to be nice about this game, since the team behind it have been very forthcoming and willing to share details and content about it with me. So I'd love to hear from anyone that likes the look of it, regardless of what I've shown in this video, especially if you're not a big Dune fan. If you wanted to leave a like or subscribe for more, we'd also love that very much. You can also check out our Patreon, where we share longer plays of whatever game we felt like playing at the time. All of that is free, just follow the link in the comments or description. Thanks again for watching, and cheers.